How many of you depend on the news to learn about what's going on in the world or the government? If not you, perhaps your parents? Would it not be a scary thought if the news broadcasting industry only provided bits and parts of the story to sway your ideological beliefs? Well, be scared, because it is happening. Personal ideologies, private ownership, competition, and the battle for profit makes the media biased, which compromises the integrity of the news and consumer broadcasting. The practice of selective exposure, the constant competition for profit in the media business, have eliminated informative reporting to the national public. Selective exposure does not only pertain to individuals who seek information. These same individuals include the journalists who write the articles, news reporters being broadcasted. It includes an actual network that pick and choose what they will expose. This is a form of bias in which the media becomes dishonest about the political process. I believe it is important for the public, and especially us as young people, to become aware of the media bias that surrounds you. As a citizen, news on television, print, or online are affecting how you and others think and vote. Selective exposure is the idea that pertains to how both news and the recipients pick and choose what information they expose and what they choose to accept. The media can eliminate statements by party nominees that may stain their image. According to the article Media Bias, both liberals and conservatives have been accused of twisting stories about the Iraq War and the presidential campaigns. The inability for the news media to provide all honest and unbiased information limits what citizens know. These limits the foundation of their values in the worldview, and furthermore in the way, if they do, vote. The media habits of analyzing stories affect what the audience will receive about the story. Matthew Felling of the Center of Media and Public Affairs says that it is a very lonely business to present the facts, because what sells is opinion mongering. People are hungry for someone to contextualize the news. They go to opinion mongers because it saves time. So average Americans do not receive the real story. That story that includes the hard facts of what was said, what happened, and who said what. Instead, they absorb the opinions of others, which in most cases they will agree because the person is more knowledgeable, and if it doesn't follow their values, they won't listen to it. And it's hard to believe that the citizens are limited to what we and them know. It is even more difficult to accept that the news distributing industry is still a business trying to earn profits. This battle plays another major role to how the political process and how we think works based on what the media provides for us. The constant competition to be on top based on profit limits what the media will choose to share with the public. They say, if it bleeds, it leads. For every case in which the public opinion was aroused, these are hundreds of examples of government decisions that didn't receive press coverage sufficient to awaken constituent ire stated in the media bias article. This shows that whatever they choose to report about has to benefit them financially. Moreover, this too can lead to twisting of stories and events in order to make it appealing to the public. The purpose of media is to communicate information to help the public make informed decisions and values. The Pew researcher in 2004 discovered that more than 50% felt that their job was being hurt from financial pressures brought by mergers. More money is being allocated to create more technology-transparent news rather than collecting them. There is something wrong when profits and the progress of technology precedes over substance to help the public in the priority list. So does this all mean that media is bad? Not necessarily. It means that when you watch television, news or not news, you have a role to play, and that is to question and analyze what you are watching. Remember, selective exposure and competition for money are only among the many reasons why media is biased when it comes to providing us information. This limits what we can know and how we choose our values. So because now you are now informed, it is up to you to accept or analyze the world around you. Questions? Yes.
So how how did you kind of like discover that you like did you like realize that the media was being too biased and you kind of went into this?
My AP government class, we're learning a lot about the political process in the government, and we learned how in the very beginning, media and newspapers were such a core part in how people learned about things, and that as time progressed, it just was obvious that media and any news that was being distributed are always going to be manipulated, because whoever writes it, whatever network decides to distribute information, they have values that they want to stick to, and so it's hard to be unbiased, and it's just shocking to learn that even the news that we watch that tell us about what's going on in the government or what's going on somewhere in another part of the world might not be completely true, and that's kind of scary to know that that's what we think is true isn't maybe not be. Yes, Misha?
Is there a way you can tell if the news is false or what?
Yeah. One of the most evident ones on clear about their bias, but they reject it, is Fox News. If you've ever watched, I can't remember his name, but when he does interviews, he'll disagree and be angry at the interviewee and yell at them. And so first, that if when you're a news broadcasting network, I believe that you're not supposed to disagree. I mean, you're getting information, not analyzing it. And two, if you notice, I recommend especially paying attention to magazines. You look at their cover page, and you have to look at it and think, what are they trying to say with this? And so one of the funny ones was Conservatist magazine, and they had Obama with like this big head, and he had the world, and it was pretending to be like a basketball, and he was like rolling it on his fingers. And just, it was, first off, it was being stereotypical, and two, was just saying that, oh, Obama's playing basketball with the world. I mean, that is, it relates to the conservatist view of what Obama is, and that he's more liberal than conservative. Any other questions?